What's going on, YouTube? We're back at it for another video, and today we'll be doing a guide on the Academy of Raya Lucaria. Now, there's more than a few secrets within this place, some things that a lot of people might miss, may have overlooked. Definitely a good idea to check out through the video, see if there's anything you missed. If you've already been through this area, you may have missed one of the ledges or possibly some of those secret items that are kind of hidden in different corners. If you're not searching for it, it's obviously a little bit off that beaten path. But when it comes to this guide, obviously, first things first, we've got a door that we've got to get through. As soon as you get to this castle, there'll be just giant blue magical door that'll keep you locked out, and what you'll require is a glintstone key in order to get in. Now, right next to that door is going to be a body that has a very crudely childlike drawn map that shows the location of possibly where this glintstone key. Well, Reaper has that intellect of somewhat like a child, so I was able to decipher this map and figured out that just off to the left of the castle, there's a small island, if you will, a crystal island, that's laying out there that we can go visit and be able to get this key. Now, just south of that location is going to be a Lost Grace location where we'll be able to set up camp, as once we get to this location, there will be a dragon waiting for us. Now, not sure if you actually have to kill the dragon, considering that it's not going to drop the key itself. All you'll get from that dragon is just going to be another one of those dragon hearts. So if you're looking for more of those dragon powers, definitely something to finish off before getting that key. But if you don't feel like fighting that dragon, you can just go to the location where the dragon is, use one of those summons, get it to aggro the dragon, and then walk up behind it, grab that key off the dead body right behind it. Then we'll be able to head straight back to that. And once we make it through the blue door, we'll get a Lost Grace waypoint, checkpoint, whatever you want to call it, and then promptly need to move over to the right, get across this broken down bridge in order to get one of the first items, which is going to be one of the golden seeds that increases our flask number throughout the game. And right after that, we'll head back to the Lost Grace, head off to the left, and we'll be able to get onto this elevator, lift, whatever you want to call it, and we'll finally be into the Academy of Raya Lucaria. Now, up ahead of us is going to be a building. We'll have to clear out some of those enemies, but as soon as we get into the building, you want to make sure, read the messages on the floor, but also, as soon as we get in, take a left and then another left, we'll be able to grab up that Lost Grace for anything that could possibly happen coming up. This is Elden Ring. Much like those Dark Souls games, common enemies can still get the better of you on certain moments. Very frustrating. One of the first things to note about this graveyard area, though, and one of the first items we'll be picking up is, as soon as you get to this bridge on our left, there's going to be a little ledge where there's going to be two archers raining down on you. Essentially what you're going to want to do is kind of kite all those enemies that are out in that courtyard, take them out while on the bridge. Now, do be wary, those archers can still somehow, they'll get those angles here and there. Make sure you kind of avoid that, but at the end of this bridge, we'll be able to jump off on this left side to this little ledge down there. Make quick work of both of these archers and actually get a solid item from this, which is going to be a summon for both of these archers. So much like the wolves, but this time whenever we summon them, it's going to be two of those archers. Now it's going to be a hefty amount of your mana in order to spawn those, but can be useful later on. Now a little bit up the road behind this little don't know what to call it, tomb, you'll notice down on the ledge there's going to be three of those infected type or husk zombie things pretty much praying towards one of those tombs as well, or tombstones. What you want to do, just make your way down, make quick work of them. Now the taller boy is going to be a little bit more dangerous. If you don't quite have the damage, he could be taking a bit more than the others, but at least we've got some decent stagger with this. But second item on the list is going to be a full set of armor, so any of those melee types out there with decent endurance could be a solid change up for you or solid upgrade going forward. Now you may feel like in this moment where you're kind of walking down there, don't know where to go, don't know how to get out, there is along that left passageway an opening that'll lead up and out. Not going to be one of those moments where you have to jump off and die just to gain the loot. Now, a little bit further ahead, there'll be a doorway on the right just past that mausoleum, and much like that one, we'll have to look over the edge again. You'll notice a lot of times in the game, you'll hear these chimes going off. It's more than likely one of these scarabs. Now, if these scarabs are glowing white, generally once you kill them, you're going to get one of those Ash of Wars or some type of ability out of them, so be on the lookout for those. Anytime you hear that chime as well, be looking around for it. Sometimes they'll disappear, but they'll always spawn in the same spot again. Now, a little bit after that, once we've made it through the doorway, we'll be jumping onto this conveyor belt. And if you played a good bit of Dying Light before this game, do remember that R1 is not going to be the jump in this game. This could have been a costly mistake right here, but it's one of those moments where you need to remember A or X is going to be that jump. But right after that, we'll go up through the doorway. We'll find a Lost Grace behind us. We'll be running into a bit more of the mages in this zone out past the graveyard. But as soon as we get into this hallway, we'll want to immediately take a left. There's going to be 2 items in this room. One's going to be a scroll on the dead guy, and then I believe we'll also have something for a crafting book inside of the treasure chest. Could be beneficial for you. Personally, haven't even used crafting one time in this game so far, so who knows, may be beneficial for you. Now, down that hallway on the right, we're going to be running into more than a few mages, so you need to be kind of prepared for this. They're all going to have their ranged attacks, and there's going to be a large pot in this room, so you really want to make sure to take out all of those ranged sorcerers before taking on the pot. I know it can be a bit frustrating since he's just wheeling around anywhere. But if you take those out before dealing with the pot, more than likely you're going to have an easier time. It's a lot easier to kite that giant pot. But once you've cleared those, we'll be able to get this treasure chest open right here. I believe we'll be getting another pot out of this one. And another item on the right side. Now right after that, we've got the first boss fight for this area. I believe there's only 2 within this area. Or I believe 3. This fight wasn't too hard for me. I actually got it first try, which is pretty rare inside of Elden Ring, if you know what I mean. But generally, it's going to be a lot easier time if you just make a summon. I had the skeleton one as my summon. Each time that he dies, he just keeps respawning like all the other skeletons inside of Elden Ring. But a fairly simple fight. Generally, it's going to be either in your face, just like any one of those wolves, but he also has the ability to spawn in that flaming sword. Can be quite damaging, but obviously not something that's going to be an immediate killer. That's why I believe this one was a bit easier, as well as the summon taking some of that aggro. But if you have decent damage for this, more than likely you're going to make some quick work out of this. And you also get a memory stone, so you'll have the ability to have multiple spells, or at least one more spell than you could have held before that. Any sorcerers are going to really grab up a lot of choice items from this area. And right after that, we'll grab the Lost Grace, and this next zone that we're going into is going to be where all the items are going to be, and also right outside the boss area. But as soon as we jump out those doors, take out a couple of those enemies, we'll need to move over to the left from that doorway and then head up these stairs over here. It's going to be another purple item over here. Make quick work of those pots, like we're Anakin Skywalker coming to the Jedi Academy. Fairly easy. I mean, they're children, right? Right? Who knows? We'll find out later on the Elden Ring story. But slice and dice your way through these. Can't remember what the item is. Well, we'll see it here in a second. And it's going to be another pot. A joyous occasion. Don't know what they're used for, but we'll find out later on. Now, right after that, we'll go over these rubbled stairwell and be able to jump up this. There's going to be a couple of those ranged sorcerers over here, so be on the watch out for that. You want to make sure that you take care of those fairly quickly. But right after that, we'll go up under through this doorway, and on our right side in the window, we'll be able to pick up another one of those items, glintstone, whetstone. Don't know what that benefit's going to be, but it's good to have it. Now, right after that, we'll jump over the ledge. We'll be able to take out these two enemies. You want to take these out, and then immediately take a left around this corner, grab up the item in the corner, and then immediately we'll want to circle back, go down the stairwell, and open up this doorway down there so we don't have to keep, just in case as we go forward, or if we die at any point. You want this door to be open. You can't open it from the other side, but for the reason that we're going to go back up to that ledge, and then we'll be able to jump off. Now, this is one of those locations that not a lot of people may have seen while running through this. Honestly, I almost overlooked it myself when going through this. I was just pretty much kind of looking around, noticed that there was a rooftop underneath, just decided to jump down. Wasn't sure whether or not I was just going to be stuck there and then have to jump to my death, or possibly even be in one of those locations that just wasn't really accessible or able to escape from it. But from this location, we're going to take this long path, get more than a few unique items, take on a couple of enemies, but at the same time, we're getting a lot of loot, a lot of hidden treasures out of this one. Now from this point forward, we'll go off to the left side. We'll be able to pick up another one of those golden runes, I believe, from that guy, and then head up this ladder. Now up at the top of this ladder, we're going to be facing off a couple of different enemies, and one of the new ones that I hadn't seen before, which is going to be the flying monkeys from the Wizard of Oz. They're a great joy. You'll really enjoy them yourself, much like most of the enemies in Elden Ring. But as soon as we get down here, you'll notice they're perched up on the ledge. I didn't even notice this one. It just comes flying at me. Thankfully, was able to dodge that one pretty cleanly, and they're pretty easy to take out. If you do land that hit when they first come down, you'll be able to knock them back, quickly take them out. Now, there'll also be an upgraded sorcerer with a few different fancy moves that you may not have seen already. Essentially, what you'll want to do is just kind of hide behind this bird cage right here. He'll take a couple of shots, and then he'll finally make his way on down. We'll be able to take him out fairly quickly without having any damage done to us that we possibly need to save up for later on, just in case we get in one of those pinches. Or maybe we make the wrong dodge, take a couple of hits wrong. Anything could happen. It is Elden Ring. But as you can see, there's going to be two more of those flying monkeys. You'll be able to do one at a time as you push forward, take them out, and then we'll be moving along the edge of this building. Now, on our left is going to be another one of those point. We'll jump down on a few more of these rooftops before we meet in with a couple more of those enemies. Now, once we jump down here, one thing to note, on our right side and our left is going to be a couple more of those archers, those machine gun archers. Very frustrating, so be wary of that. You definitely want to get the jump on that. You don't want to be taking too many hits, and especially you don't want to be taking too many hits on this narrow pathway up here. You definitely don't want to fall off. It's a long way back. You're going to have to go through those enemies again. Trust me, I've done it more than a few times, and it's quite irritating. So be cautious with your dodges over in this section. But as soon as you take out this enemy right in front of us, we'll be able to find another item. I believe it's another golden rune. We'll essentially go down the walkway again, and off on the right side of this building, we'll be able to grab up another one of those items. Now from this point, we'll go back to where the first archer was, and then we'll be able to jump down on the ledge of this building. Off to our right is going to be another one of those purple items. And from this point, we'll be able to jump over to the next building as well. Now be cautious with this jump. I was definitely feeling my feet come out from under me every time I made that jump. But at the same time, we do get another one of those smithing stones, or whatever they're called. Something for the blacksmith in order to upgrade our weapons. And then we'll just jump on back, make our way over to the right, and then work our way around the right side of this building. Now you may notice a ladder there. You want to take it, but you don't want to take it, or you want to take the ladder first. Go grab the loot down there. Don't have the footage of that in here, but after you come back up the ladder, you'll be able to jump across to this building. We're going to get some pretty hefty loot over here. We'll take out two of these enemies on this back side of this. It's going to be another couple of those crazy wild spearmen. But from this point, you either want to go down along the right edge. You don't want to jump down right there just yet. You want to make sure you go through these windows. There's a little walkway or beams in here that you can grab up. You'll notice there's another item on the chandelier, but don't drop down just yet. There's another item outside of this window, and on our right is going to be two more of those flying monkeys. Really want to make a keynote on this one, because this is one of those moments in Elden Ring when common enemies get the better of you. Not much you can do about it. Very frustrating. It's going to be a long walk back, but we're back. We're ready to tear them up again. Let's get it. All right, flying monkeys. They're pretty dumb. They definitely want to attack that window for some reason. But we made quick work of them. God, it's satisfying to see them die after I died. Still frustrating to watch again. But after we take these two down, we'll have another item off onto the right of this ledge. Grab that one up. Then we'll be able to head back, grab that item on the chandelier. Now from the chandelier, we're going to get another one of those glintstone keys. Not exactly sure where we're going to use that, but it's going to come in handy if we find another one of those blue doors, maybe for a side quest somewhere else or just a mysterious dungeon. But as soon as we jump down from this chandelier, we'll have, I believe, four or five of the mage type enemies. 2 of them are just going to be the melee type. One of them, or actually, I believe it's only 3. Getting a bit confused here. It's been a minute, or it's pretty early in the morning. But essentially, you just want to take out that long range mage first, get rid of him as quick as possible, then make quick work of those wannabe mages that are just sword and shield. Very easy to take down. And make sure you take them down. Good Lord. Yep, common enemies. I'm already getting frustrated just watching this. I don't know why I kept this in here. My video editing skills are not quite on par. But from this point, you'll be able to go around the right side. There's going to be another purple item in this room. And we need to make sure that we do not forget to go outside first as well. We want to make sure, as you'll notice, down below is going to be that first starting room. As soon as we came up on that elevator, that's where we've ended up by going down all of these different rooftops. But right outside here, you definitely don't want to miss this, especially if you're looking for some intelligence from a piece of armor. You'll notice there's this crab in the corner. As soon as you kill this, we'll be able to get a helmet that's going to be very similar to that of the enemy types that we've seen in this area, but this helmet in particular will give us +6 to our intellect. I know there's been more than a few melee weapons out there that I've needed some more intellect on. Don't really want to spend the points on pushing for intellect. This could be something that helps you out in that manner, or possibly even if you're a sorcerer, just adding 6 intellect points with a piece of armor that's pretty light, it's going to be pretty beneficial for you. Now, right after that, we are going to have a hallway with a very specific enemy that is very destructive for a common enemy. You may have seen this guy before if you've already been up to the Three Sisters area, but he's got that crossbow and he's got 3 different flame arrows, and if you get hit by all 3 of those, trust me, it's an instant kill if you have anything close to what my health is as a wretch. Very frustrating. Boom. Very quickly, you can die even when they've got that one hit, all they need. Now, one thing to key note. If you're worried about dying to this guy, there is a ladder that you can kick down so you don't have to go all the way through all of this mess again. From this point, you'll be able to kick this down and you'll be able to spawn at that first Lost Grace if you wanted to do that. Now, that's going to be pretty beneficial for you, but at the same time, pretty dangerous to go down it. Wouldn't suggest it, but we're back at facing that enemy. There's going to be a nice little loot item or weapon at the end of this hallway. I chose a different weapon this time around. Pulled out my own crossbow. Thought I'd get the better of him. Turns out, some enemy types can or some things never change in different games. As soon as you face them, they'll still be able to hit you through a wall. So even with my strat right here, be sure to back away from that wall. That way you're not taking hits like that. Lucky enough the crossbow bolts didn't make it through that wall. Otherwise this would have been another rage-fueled adventure right here. But after you've taken him down, I believe, yes, take off your own crossbow so you're not fat rolling everywhere. Grab up whatever runes you may have left off before that. But from this, I don't believe it's a chest. I believe we'll just get another staff right here. So sorcerers out there, you're going to be having a hefty amount of these items coming forward. Or if you're somebody that's playing halfway through the game, at the end of this area, we will be able to respec points. So if you wanted to actually respec and become a mage after going through this area, could be something to do. You could also do it at any different time if you wanted to. But right after that, we go back to that main courtyard, and after we've gone through all of that, we'll spawn back at that Lost Grace, come through here, and in the middle where this fountain is, you'll have to jump off from the outside edge onto the next one. You want to make sure it's from one of those square tops. That way you can make it up to there, but we'll get another one of those keys for those imps. Going to be very useful later on And from this point, you could push out and take on everything in that courtyard if you wanted to. Not necessary. What you're going to want to do is go over to the left side. Beware of the crab over here. Those giant crabs can be a handful, pretty much a nightmare at any given moment. Definitely didn't even know they could do this before I ran into this one. Didn't really mess with them all that much. But you can quickly turn around, get into this back crawl space area, take them down fairly easy from that position. And then what we'll want to do is go from the left over here. We'll find another one of those golden seeds, further increasing our number of, what am I forgetting? The flasks. Forgetting the names of some of these items. But off in the back corner in the left over here, after you've taken out some of those enemies that are just a little bit of chump chains, adding those levels up, reading a few messages off the ground, because who knows, they could be helpful, or they could be another troll trying to tell you there's a lair at a brick wall. Very frustrating. But you'll notice in this left corner over here, well, if I'd stop reading messages, there's going to be another one of those crabs. Now, this one is going to have a helmet that only increases your intellect by 3, whereas the other one's got 6. Not sure what the big difference is going to be. There may be a weight difference. There may be an armor difference, but you know, I'd much prefer to go for the 6th one, but if you're looking to get all the loot in the game, that's one way to do it. Now, after we've done that, we're going to go over to the right side of that courtyard, and then we'll be able to jump over to here, which we're going to need to watch out. There's going to be a wrecking ball coming down here like it's Indiana Jones. I did not know this was coming, and boom, at least it's not a one-shotter. That would have been very frustrating, but at least we're not far from that lost grace. There's a couple of items to grab up here. Not necessarily the most beneficial items in the game, but that one at the very end is going to be one that you'd want to grab up if you're really looking to empower that weapon you have. It's also another item on the left. Didn't get the footage on that one, didn't even notice it. This is the first time running up here. But it's fairly easy to make it around this wrecking ball. Not hard at all. It's going to be the same pattern every single time, so you should be able to work around it fairly easily. Now, once we make it through this doorway past the wrecking ball, there'll be a portal on our right. We're not going to want to take that just yet. I can't remember where it goes, but it's not going to benefit us to getting to the boss or the final boss for this area. Now, this guy is somebody to talk about. This is, I guess, like the gatekeeper for the main boss. He's kind of a mini boss, and one thing to note about this guy is do not attack his shield. If you do, he's going to parry you and one-shot you, or possibly one-shot you if you just got some maximum health bar. What you want to do is wait for him to attack, dodge his attack, and then roll into attack. That way he doesn't have that shield ready. You're able to stagger him quite easily. He's not all that tanky, so you should be able to get more than a few hits on him and take him down fairly quickly. As you notice, he does give the ability to do that health pot, but fairly easy work. Should be able to hit him at all those moments as he's trying to attack, stun lock him right there. And at one point, I believe, he does pull out a staff, so he won't be able to do that shield move anymore after that point. I believe right after he heals, he may do that transition. But right after that, on the left side, we're going to have a couple of enemies over here. Definitely another one of those moments where I thought he was dead, but he wasn't dead. Finished me off. Very frustrating. Thank you, Elden Ring. But after we clear out some of these enemies, we'll be able to walk along this edge, and it'll essentially, there's another door that's right behind or on that balcony where we jumped off. You could take this route if you wanted to in order to get back to the boss room, but I'd say take the wrecking ball route every single time. Like, this doorway has pretty much no use for you. You'd have to go through some of those enemies, possibly waste one of your flasks before getting here, or just having that frustration. Nobody wants that. But this is where we get to the final boss of this portion. If you don't want any spoilers, you want to face this boss on your own, feel free to stop the video here. You know, make sure that you gotten all the loot before this. Don't worry about that. But if you're looking to have a little bit more information, or just having that information before getting into this boss, before even facing off with it, trying to get that one-shot try onto it and just finish them off fairly quickly, we've got more than a few tips for you right here. Now, as soon as we get into this boss area, it's going to be fairly easy. The first phase of this, This is going to be the first phase where she's kind of floating in this orb, and essentially what we're going to need to look for is the singing copy or clone on the ground. We'll be able to take that one out. You don't need to dodge the books. You can kind of just move around them fairly easily. But once we take out 3 of these glowing yellow orb singing ladies, then the one floating in the sky will drop down and we'll be able to deal damage to her. Now, you may think to yourself, why don't I summon a creature right now? Don't do it. Trust me. Wait for it. I'll tell you why we summon a little bit later on. You want the wolves for this one. And in this moment, you'll deal some pretty hefty damage. You know, you just really want to lay it into her. Really get that damage in as much as possible straight away. And you'll notice immediately, or don't be too close once she starts popping back up. You definitely don't want to get hit by that explosion. Now, you'll be able to make quick work of some of those singing ladies. Now, she will also, in this phase, be able to pick up 3 of those clones and then turn them into tombstones and throw them at you. So if you can't quite find the 3 that quickly, you want to make sure that you're watching out for that just in case she throws it. Does some hefty damage. You don't want to die to that. I believe I may have gotten hit by it in this run. Can't remember specifically. Yes, there it is. Does some hefty damage, and it would be... it may not have been all that much time, but just having to restart can be very frustrating. Now, right here, as we kill the 3rd one in this one, we want to summon those wolves and then finish off her health bar right here, because now we're about to go into phase 2, and you don't want to have to summon in the phase 2. You'd rather have it just before. Those summons will teleport with you to this next zone. Now, this is when things get a little bit easy. They can be easy, but I did have more than a few frustrating moments with this. For some of those people that are just trying to do it without the summons, if you're melee, she does a lot of moves where she literally does a spell cast and then pushes back. It's very frustrating. You may as well use the summon if you're just trying to make quick work of this, or you're just trying to get through it in a pretty easy manner. This is going to be the best way to do it. She's very prone to staggering, but if you're just the melee pushing towards her, more than likely, a lot of times she's going to be able to push away a lot quicker, and you're going to have to dodge so many different attacks. It's going to be frustrating. I tried it several times. It was very irritating, but making quick work right there. Very easy, very simple. Probably one of the easier bosses or main bosses out of the entire game, or so far yet. I haven't even finished it yet. But thus far, this was something that was quite surprising to me. And from inside this location, there is going to be a locked chest on the right side. There will be some type of other side quest that gives you a key to unlock this. I do not know what's inside of it just yet. I'll have to make a video on that later, but we'll also have a Lost Grace here, and you'll be able to talk to her and be able to respec your points for your character. Now, that's going to be the Raya Lucaria guide right there, guys. Hope you enjoyed this. Hope you learned something from it. If you want to see some of this content live, hit that link down in the description. Follow me over at Twitch. I'll be streaming this over the next couple of days, and we will be doing some more content on Elden Ring as well. Trying to do a couple more of these guides, maybe some guides for some of those boss fights that are a bit more difficult as well. But that's going to be it, guys. Hope you enjoyed it, and have a good one.